Hi, this is Linda Heiss from Direct Property, bringing you a business perspective to investment properties. If you can maneuver yourself around the placement of your properties on the matrix, you could avoid financial traps in the future. This is about finding your unique position on the Boston Matrix, adapted for property. It's all about planning and forecasting. Problem children walking a tightrope, stars falling and being crowded out, cows looking for new places to graze, owners putting their dogs on life support. Here is the cycle. An investment usually starts with a question mark. Why a question mark? It's like walking a tightrope. You don't know which side you're going to fall into. You could fall into fortune, or you could fall into a pit. If this investment is successful, it soars like a rising star, peaking in both cash flow and capital growth. Then, as the investment matures, its shine diminishes as new glitter appears on the skyline. So then it does a sideways shuffle into becoming a cash cow, and you can milk it like crazy as it supports its own costs and funds other investments. But its capital value is now pulling back. Once it is exhausted, it becomes a dog, where the costs of keeping this animal exceeds the rental income. You may need to put it on life support. Why am I coming at property from a business perspective? Well, either you have a business, you work for someone who has a business, or you manage your household like a business. It's all the same. It's about income and expenses and projecting your future needs and outcomes. A property portfolio is no different. So review and optimize your position now for success later. Why is it important for you to find out where your properties are positioned on the matrix? Because over time, life changes. Demographics and infrastructure might also change. Then businesses adapt to reflect changing needs, and so should you. And we all want some level of lifestyle. By understanding your placement on the matrix, helps you manage your future capacity to either replicate investments or divest of investments. All things being equal, your end game is to replace your current income with investment income. So, how do you do that? By optimizing your position in changing markets. Low cash flow with potential capital growth are question marks. High cash flow with high capital growth would be stars. High cash flow with low capital growth are cash cows. And low cash flow with low capital growth are dogs. There are no guarantees that property will double every 7 to 10 years. Well, that is due to the natural economic growth. However, there are ways to manufacture capital growth. For example, you could find out how the banks value properties. Do they give a higher value for an extra bedroom? Perhaps a draftsperson could look at moving a few walls. Property as an investment class is a little pedestrian. You make a purchase and then over time equity will build. Then you buy another property and repeat this strategy to create your portfolio. So looking at your whole portfolio, imagine if you have an underperforming property and you are limited by the cash flow to service loans. Then what happens if you don't have enough equity to safeguard your other assets? Let's discover the warning signs of a slippery slope. Don't watch your property get sucked down the kitchen sink. The Boston Consulting Matrix was originally designed to help businesses decide what to keep, sell, or invest more in. Each quadrant has its own set of characteristics. By understanding these characteristics, you can strategically plan your moves and hedge your portfolio for better long-term risk management. From the first brick laid to demolition, property moves through different cycles. So within the Boston Matrix, it all starts with a question mark. Question marks are business units experiencing low market share in a high-growth industry. This quadrant is like having a problem child. It can be disruptive until it reaches adulthood, by which time your hope is that they grow up and achieve some level of stability and maturity, and they finally produce results. However, there was an element of investment risk. Question marks can drop into any other quadrant, It is like watching that tightrope walker, wondering which side is he going to fall into. An example of a question mark could be a home and land package in a newly developed estate. This is a type of off-the-plan commitment. You have looked at the master plan, but you don't know the impact this infrastructure will have on future demographics in, say, 10 years from now. You must analyse properties in this quadrant frequently and closely to see if they are worth maintaining. Next, we're going to look at stars. Stars are high growth and high cash flow properties. These are usually the first ones into the market. However, because of their high growth rate, stars consume large amounts of cash. Stars can eventually become cash cows if they can stay on top of the market until the time when the market growth slows down, making way for new shooting stars. A good example would be any property with position. To achieve this, there needs to be some level of scarcity in order to retain high cash flow. As soon as the market becomes more mature, there will be more saturation and competition. Okay, now we can talk about cash cows. A cash cow is an asset in an established, mature, slow growth area. Its rental return is far greater than its lethargic capital growth. The high cash flow provides a steady source of income with little maintenance. There is enough milk to spill over into every other property and also supports expansion, so other debt can be serviced. Although the cow's personality can be viewed as complacent with lack of innovation, you need to be careful of the disruptive innovators. They could be a future threat and cause displacement of your cow's grazing. You might need to rotate where you are grazing. So think about it. What could dry up the milk? What is the current supply and demand? What are the changing demographics? What are the current economic markers? So think about diversifying your ability to receive rental income. Now we're up to dogs. Dogs have low capital growth, low cash flow. This would be a business you would consider liquidating or repurposing its use. Dogs can turn out to be cash traps. Dogs are hungry, they keep eating your profits, so it's dragging the performance of the whole portfolio down. In a dog's younger days, it could have been well positioned. There was scarcity in the market and it could command a high rental return. Now that the area has matured, the returns are no longer there because of saturation. Cranes are spanning the horizon like swords sparring for prominence. The dangers? Cash dogs, well, you can either starve them or shoot them. By that I mean reinvent another purpose. You don't want to throw away good money after bad. Sometimes you are stuck with a dog because you cannot sell it when you need to, so you might have to revive it for a time, even though it's on its last legs and dying. This hungry pet is possibly delaying your European holidays. What crimes has this dog committed? He is destroying the hot water system, rusting the roof guttering, inflating land rates, increasing energy costs, blowing out the budget, and stealing your income and profits. Approach with caution. This dog was last seen digging up your gardens and destroying the watering system. In another video, I talk about 5 ways of putting a dog on life support. Click on the link below. So now that you understand a little more about the characteristics of each of these quadrants, how can you apply this to your long-term planning? There are 2 broad applications. If you have a salary-paying career and you have many more employment decades, you might choose cash cows for serviceability. As your income increases, then question marks and ultimately stars. Then, if you have less than 10 years in your career, you might be more focused on cash flow, converting most of your assets to cash cows, and weeding out assets that are draining your portfolio. Your end game is to replace your current income with income-producing assets, of which property may play a significant role. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. What you want to learn is how to actively interplay with the property cycles and economic markers so that you can respond and always remain relevant. This is Linda Heiss from Direct Property, bringing you a business perspective to investment properties.